What if there was a way for you to only do the work that you feel like doing in the moment while still getting your most important tasks done? Well, I say that you can by using a to-do list buffet. The to-do list buffet is a way of getting things done that I've been working with over years of just not feeling like it. And my Notion productivity system makes it even easier to manage, so I'm gonna show you exactly how I do it. Especially now that I work for myself, the only person cracking the whip is me. I can't really rely on external deadline pressure the way that I used to, and trust me, I thrive under deadline pressure. But the to-do list buffet doesn't rely on external pressure or deadlines or even willpower. It does rely on recognizing how you feel, what your energy level is, and what your true priorities are. Hey, it's your girl Asante, helping you move consciously and creatively through life, so let's go. So the crux of this concept is to treat your to-do list like a buffet. You have a range of tasks that you could be doing, and then you pick and choose what you feel like doing in the moment. There are a few reasons why this works, and 2 key elements that you need to do this effectively. First, you need your tasks laid out in an organized manner. After all, when you go to a buffet, you don't usually find the salmon next to the cheesecake, next to the lettuce, next to the punch, next to the lasagna. No, you have entrees in one area, you have a salad bar, you have drinks in one area, you have desserts in yet another. Like, could you imagine knowing that you want a salad and having to search through to find where are the tomatoes? Wait, okay, the onions are behind the mac and cheese. Now, where are the carrots? Like, just the process of making a simple salad would become stressful and confusing, and you might miss things. Well, a lot of us treat our to-do list this way. We just dump everything in one big long list without any clear way to differentiate between different types of tasks. Just like a good buffet table, a to-do list buffet is laid out in an organized, streamlined way so you only see the relevant items at relevant times. There are several apps that will allow you to do this. I love Notion personally. I talk about Notion a lot on this channel, and I really like the amount of customization that I'm able to apply with Notion. So that's the system that I'm going to show you right now. So for this, I'm in my Today Action dashboard. This is one dashboard that brings in all of my to-dos and habit trackers into one centralized place so I can just live here for the majority of my time in Notion. And I've done a full walkthrough of this dashboard in my ultimate to-do list video, which I will link in the eye of the tiger. And if you like this exact setup, then I do have some templates that I will link in the description. You can snag it yourself if you want. So there are 4 essential ways that I organize and sort my tasks. There's activity type, estimated time, project, and zone. Activity type gets into what kind of energy this activity requires from me. So I have several. Because I write a lot and I also do quite a bit of studying. You can have whatever activities are most relevant to your workflow, but I find that writing and studying take really focused energy. And so I need to be in a particular mindset in order to write well. Same thing in order to do a lot of focused, concentrated reading. And so these are distinct activity types. Whereas communications, much more sporadic. This is stuff like sending email, responding back to text messages, checking Slack. I don't need very focused energy for that. Admin is basically office work, so filling out forms, signing up for a new service, adjusting my settings, reading the fine print. This is stuff that's pretty boring, and I need to feel a bit like determined and motivated to really get through these kind of tasks. Meetings, pretty self-explanatory. Any sort of scheduled event. A production task is something that I have to make. A lot of it is me thinking through strategy or coming up with ideas. That takes a more creative mindset, as does a visual task. So because I do visual art, these videos are very visual, editing is visual, making graphics for my content is visual. That's a specific kind of production task, really, and it's something that I can do in a more sort of dreamy, imaginative, unfocused state. And so that's the distinct category for me. Wellness, those are things I have to do for myself. Cooking, cleaning, exercise goes in this area. Leisure activities includes socializing, anything I'm doing just purely for fun. An errand is anything that requires me to leave the house, and then there are certain tasks where I'm actually waiting on someone else to give me something before I can continue or finish the task. Having these classified by activity type helps me to be able to easily find tasks that are relevant when I'm in the mood to write something, or when I'm in the mood to make something and be really productive, or maybe if I'm in the mood to knock out some admin tasks and get things off my plate. The estimated time also really helps me to navigate through my to-do list. Maybe I know that I only have 15 minutes between now and the next activity. I can see which tasks that I have that are only going to take 15 minutes. maybe I just do those right now. I've also noticed that for myself, after about 2 hours of doing a task, I get bored. So having the estimation helps to keep me honest and helps to make sure that I'm not gonna just lose momentum throughout my day. Having things labeled by project also helps because sometimes certain projects feel like priorities and I'm motivated to just work on that project for a while. And finally, I have a label based on what zone of my life this supports. So is this a personal task? Is it business? Am I delivering something specifically for a client, which is a bit different from supporting my business overall? Or is this a social activity? Is this feeding my relationships? All of those are important, and so I want to make sure that I'm serving all of those through the tasks that I'm doing. This may seem like a lot of information to put in, but it only takes a few seconds if you use this sort of drop-down system, right? So super easy depending on, again, the software. And within my Notion setup, I use filters so that some of these things can be populated automatically. So if I navigate to the project page itself and I add tasks in the project page, these will automatically be connected to this project and they will have the zone of business. And this brings me to how useful it is to be able to navigate to one area that is specifically dedicated to whatever priority. So I can navigate to my project page and only see the tasks that are relevant to finishing this project. So I can use this space to add new tasks, map things out. I could also change the dates that I feel like I'm gonna do each individual task, set these for today. Maybe I could set this for tomorrow. So that allows me to map out, projected due dates, but also stay really flexible in case my energy does vary. I find that sometimes I'm really motivated to knock out the admin tasks as well. Sometimes I'm just like in a get stuff done, cross things off the list mood. So I can navigate to my admin actions dashboard. And this is where you'll see everything filtered by admin being the activity type. And then I have some projects that are like all admin projects. So whatever I'm in the mood to do, I have a space laid out that's capturing those relevant tasks and those tasks only. And then everything surfaces onto my today to-do list based on that due date. So everything that has a due date of today or previously shows up on this list. So I could just change all of these to today, getting these done this year. I like to go through this the night before just to set my to-do list for the following day ahead of time. And I like to map out what the most important tasks are to do during the week as well. So I have this drop down where I can populate things onto different days. Any task that I know I want to do on a particular day is assigned for that day. So maybe on Wednesday I have a bunch of meetings and I need to plan accordingly. Or maybe on Thursday I want to go run my errands, so I bunch my errand tasks on Thursday. So this is just that same task database filtered by different days of the week based on the due date feature. By chunking out my tasks like this, I can plan out all of my tasks on a big picture, but I also never get overwhelmed because I'm only seeing what I have to do today or for this project or just for this type of activity. The filtering and sorting that you can do in databases allows you to thoroughly brain dump your tasks, get them out of your brain, and file them away until you need them. Okay, cool. So at this point we have our buffet of tasks laid out. We're using filters and sorts to only see what's relevant. The second part is that you actually need to know what you feel like doing. This is where mindfulness and regular reflection comes in. At a higher level, what projects and objectives do you really want to be pursuing? What is important to you? How do you want to be spending your time? What do you want to be doing in your life right now? Big questions, right? What are you doing with your life? Journaling has been a great tool for me in figuring out what those answers are. I do a daily journal. I also do a weekly journal in my weekly review, which I covered in this video in the Eye of the Tiger. And I do a monthly reflection, a quarterly reflection, and of course a yearly reflection. I'm always taking stock of where I am, where I want to be going, and what things can ultimately get me there. Knowing what those larger goals and objectives are and keeping those front and center really helps me to stay motivated and keep going. And then at a more granular level, what do you feel like doing at any particular time each day? This is when you tap into your own body's circadian rhythm. I had to slow down to figure out what my body actually wants and what its natural energy levels are when I'm not pushing myself to work at all hours and forcing myself to meet deadlines. I stopped just pushing things onto my calendar and took a pause to ask myself these questions. When do I naturally seem to get the most work done? What time of day do I feel the most focused? When I really get into creative flow, What time was that? When do I feel more distracted? When do I feel more tired? When am I naturally hungry and want to grab a snack? For me, 3:30 p.m. is cookie o'clock. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm grabbing a snack. When am I the most sociable? When do I feel the most high energy? Now I know all those things about myself and I plan accordingly. I feel the most focused at the very beginning of the day, provided that I've gotten a good night's sleep and I wake up feeling well rested. And after I give myself an hour to warm up, my brain needs a bit of time to get up to speed. Because I need that warm up hour, instead of snapping myself into action right away, I give myself a gentle wake up routine. I go to the bathroom, I do my hygiene, I go to the kitchen, tidy up a little bit, make my breakfast, make myself a cup of tea. Then and only then do I sit down at my desk and tackle tasks that need a lot of focus and motivation, like writing, studying, or maybe some admin. I'm doing all those things at the beginning of the day to get myself in the right mood, to get myself excited to accomplish my tasks in the day. That's what makes me feel like doing the things that are actually most important to do. The afternoon is actually when I tend to get the most work done. I can be more productive, I'm more high energy. That's when I like to take my meetings as well, because I like to be high energy and on my best performance when I'm meeting with people. And it's also when I tend to get into creative flow. So I make sure that there are some days that have no meetings, so I can really just hone in and get out my creative work. And by the end of the day, I do tend to get more distracted. So by this time, I'm tired, I'm also more reactive to things that might pop up in my environment, and I'm less likely to hold a thought if it's not interesting to me. This makes the evenings actually great for creative brainstorming, bouncing new ideas off of each other, interrogating things that are super interesting to me, that are threads that I want to explore. I want to go zig, I want to go zag, I want to, throw things against the wall. It's also great for socializing. I don't have to be as on top of it and sharp as I would for client meetings, but I'm really reactive to whatever's in my environment. I can bounce ideas off of friends, and I actually am someone who gets energized by social interactions, so it's nice to have some socializing at the end of the day to give myself a little energy boost. And these insights about my energy levels and what activities feel best at what times came through experimentation. So try something out, see what works, adjust what doesn't work. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, Asante, this seems well and good for someone who is highly motivated, but what about people who are just lazy? And in response, I would put forth the somewhat radical argument that laziness does not exist. At least probably not for someone like you who's watching a productivity video. Dr. Devin Price's book, Laziness Does Not Exist, goes into this argument in more detail. I believe that as humans, we naturally want to do things. We want to make ourselves useful. We want to help other people. We want to contribute something to society. We want to make an impact, and we want to be able to have fun along the way. Enjoyment doesn't mean inactivity. Like if you've ever taken a long staycation at home with not much to do and then been super ready to return to work at the end of it, you know what I mean. Aimlessness gets pretty boring pretty fast. You're gonna want to do something eventually. Sitting around aimlessly can feel nice at first because it's a form of rest, and rest is something that's not valued nearly enough in American culture right now. If you're feeling lazy, well, maybe you're just not feeling well in general. Maybe you're burnt out, not getting enough sleep, not getting enough social interaction. Maybe you're not exercising enough. Maybe your physical health is suffering, your mental health is suffering, you're anxious, you're depressed. In those situations, you need rest and recovery. You need health, you need community, you need support. Those things are influenced by you individually, but also by your surroundings. I'm someone who thinks wellness should be at the foundation of our lives, and that if we don't have those things in order, the rest just isn't gonna go as well. And that could be a bigger issue that needs addressing, and that's not something a to-do list is necessarily gonna fix. In fact, those are the kind of issues that I spent years working on within myself and that I've documented on this channel. I had a lot of work to do before I could focus on heightening my productivity. And the second thing that a feeling of laziness might indicate is that you're not doing the right things. Again, this could be a larger issue. Maybe you're not in a career you like, or you don't work with people you like, or the career doesn't afford you the lifestyle that you want. We spend so much of our lives at work that I believe in having work that you enjoy and working with people who you enjoy being around. If you never feel like going to work, maybe it's that you don't feel like going to a stressful, underpaid job that doesn't feel meaningful to you. It's not that no one wants to work anymore, it's that no one wants to work your crappy job. Hello, boy, bye. Release your job. Release the stress. Forget the rest. Similarly, if there's some project on your to-do list that you never wind up getting around to, maybe you don't need to do it. If it is something that is really important to do, there will come a time where it feels urgent or necessary and you are motivated to get it done. I mean, urgency still counts. Sometimes you want to do something because you don't want to face the consequences of not doing it. I try not to live an urgency-driven life, but let's face it, sometimes there ain't no minute like the last minute. Okay. So if you really never feel like doing something, then listen to that feeling. It might be indicative of some larger life changes that need to happen. This to-do list buffet process really changes what project planning looks like. Rather than setting strict deadlines, it means laying out tasks in an organized way. It means taking just a moment to think realistically about how much time and what kind of energy each task is going to take you. It means that you're pulling tasks onto your to-do list based on your energy and availability, rather than pushing them on based on arbitrary, predetermined dates. And it becomes a habit. I fold this right into my end of the day journaling and weekly review, so it's a seamless part of my regular practices. If you're interested in having a system to work through your projects and how they lead to those higher level goals, then you'll get a few ideas from my yearly planning and review video, which you can check out right here. As always, remember to live spiritedly and think creatively, and I will see you next time. Release your job. Release the time. You won't break my soul.